With us in this episode is Kathyrin Cortez from the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines to talk to us about the state of the media today. Thank you, Ms. Kat, for joining us in our episode.
Yes, thank you for inviting also NJP.
Well, it's been a difficult first few months moving on to 2020, and yet there are still a lot of issues circling the globe. And one of those issues is still the state of the media. Can you give us an overview of the state of the media today and how hard is it working as a journalist in our times today?
Yeah, of course, no, as NUJP is concerned, we see this attack in media right now under the Duterte administration is really worsening. Meaning to say, almost every day we've documented cases of attacks, specifically harassment, intimidation, and there's also online trolling. And now, this increasing number of red tagging among journalists and media organizations nationwide, just because of our critical reportage on what's happening around under the administration of President Duterte.
Well, since you mentioned the administration of Duterte, can you give us an update on whether the country, the Philippines, where is it on the list of countries that are safe for journalists?
Well, Philippines is considered as one of the safest safest country for journalists in Asia. But however, this is not, hindi siya parang magiging sinasabi natin na place which is safe for journalists in reality. Why? Because under the Duterte administration, we have 15 cases of killings, no? And 8 of these killings happened in Mindanao, and 7 out of 8 happened just in the vicinity of Davao region. So, this is very alarming, and knowing that the Duterte administration has many years left pa, no? May 2 years pa, almost 2 years, we see na possible magkakaroon pa ng increase, not just in the killing ng journalist, but also in different form of attacks. Yun na nga, yung itong red tagging ng mga journalist na critical yung reportage under this current administration. And also with the advent of social media, it is easy for people and also paid trolls to attack like us journalists because of our reportage.
So now that we have established those cases, what are the programs of the NUJP and what is the focus of the NUJP?
First, NUJP as an organization, we are focusing on the welfare of the entire media community. When we say the entire media community, we are not just talking about the reporters or those anchors in front of our television or the broadcasters. We are talking about the entire media workers, no, na affected ng ganitong klaseng attacks against our community. So because we are into the welfare of our colleagues, no, we push that we should have a data bank of all the cases, not just under this administration, but since the 1986, kasi yung count natin ng media attacks is from 1986 up to present. Second, we also advocate itong mga trainings, just like yung mga trainings natin recently, the safety trainings for journalists covering hostile environment. And of course, itong bago nating program is yung QRT or Quick Response Training for journalists naman to ensure, no, that in our ranks we have a documentation of the cases na kinakaharap natin, just like threats, no. And here in Baguio City, for example, we have cyber libel of Mr. Frank Simatu. We have the arrest and illegal detention of Sherwin De Vera, the frustrated killing of Brandon Lee, and a lot more in Luzon. So yeah, that's our advocacy right now.
And since you mentioned the training, what is this quick response training for journalists?
It tackles on how to engage our ranks as journalists on getting documentation of possible cases. For example, if a journalist has halimbawa threat like he receives or she receives death threat, so our community should have at least document these kind of cases kasi pwede natin siyang magamit for legal purposes to file a case, to seek legal remedies kung anong pwedeng gawin. All in all, this effort is for, of course, to defend our press freedom, no? Kasi under this administration, it is very sad to know na hindi masyadong priority yung press freedom and also the welfare of our media workers. So that's why we are doing our job, no, as an organization to somehow magkaroon ng stress itong ganitong klaseng mga trainings because especially in the community, yung mga media in the community or yung mga alternative media, wala silang ganitong klaseng mga knowledge and also because maliliit silang company, wala din silang kakayahan, no, to do trainings on their own. That's why as an effort, NUJP initiates to convene different media practitioners for them to be able to know about quick reaction.
Well, it's interesting to point out that these media workers they face unpredictable challenges on the field, both print or broadcast, and yet what are the safety tips that you may recommend to our media workers today?
There are a lot of safety tips, no, but basics will always be our knowledge on sa ano pa yung mangyayari sa field, no. We should have at least research before going to the field as part of our itong preparation for coverage. At least we have our go-to bags, our research on who to interview, what kind of environment are we going to environment are we going to go pagka nandun na tayo, ano yung mga possible na mga challenges along the way. And of course, hindi lang dun natatapos we should also be very careful on engaging ourselves kung sino yung mga nandun. Tapos, of course, pinaka-basic yung ating mga equipments, no? Do we have personal protective equipments going there, especially when covering hostile environment? So, yan yung pinaka-malaking question kasi for majority of the community media, wala tayong ganon, no? Kung if we cover like conflict areas or yung mga disaster-affected areas, wala tayong helmet, wala tayong vest. Even nga yung simple first aid kit, wala tayo nun. So, it should be the priorities of a media practitioner to have a safety equipments, yung first aid kits, ganun. Samahan na natin ng research.
Well, since you mentioned the hostile environment, nowadays, the COVID-19 is the biggest issue in the world today. And media workers also face danger in covering COVID-19 infected areas. What can the NUJP recommend when media workers go to these areas that can infect or rather affect their health?
Actually, NUJP will be honest on this, no. COVID-19 is new to us, no. And of course, with the Media Safety Office, even as we are still into talks on how to address matters para to ensure yung ating mga journalists will be safe while coverage. But number one, we see there's a need for journalism literacy, especially in covering itong ganitong klaseng issues like COVID-19. Why? To have protocols, no? We should identify protocols on this. Second, kailangan i-urge yung mga companies to provide PPEs for our reporters and our cameramans and other media workers covering the issues. Why? Because it is very difficult na ilalagay or you will send your team sa isang case na wala silang ganitong protection. So I think these two will be the best urgent matter that not just our companies but the entire media community should address while covering COVID-19 right now.
So delving into the social media realm,
yes,
of course there are a lot of fake news and other news reports that people look into Facebook and they believe that it's already true. How can the NUJP battle or combat fake news?
Okay. there's an application that we are still developing right now. Currently, it's called Fake Block. It's an application that you can download, tapos you can install it on your computer and then your mobile phones. This Fake Block application will block all the fake news, yung mga disinformation na kumakalat, especially in social media like Facebook, Twitter, and other formats, no? But because meron tayong mga enhancement na ginawa, we will launch in the next coming month yung application related to Fake Block. I don't know yung pangalan, specific na pangalan, but yes, we will relaunch again yung Fake Block, pero mas tawag nito, mas comprehensive na yung kanyang application because marami tayong na list na mga pages and accounts na nagdi-disseminate ng disinformation sa public. And in our study with, of course, other partner organizations, we see na majority of the people na nagre-repost and also posting this so-called disinformation or fake news, yung mga senior citizens. So yung target natin with this application ay to reach our senior citizens na ngayon ay medyo masyadong inclined naman sa pag-use, especially Facebook.
Alright, so lastly, Ms. Kat, what is your message for the up and coming and the journalists of today, especially in these times?
Journalism is not a very good job for those who wanted to become rich or those who wanted to become, you want honey in your plate. But it is a very challenging job for us, no. In times like this that we are still under attack and the attack is ongoing, it is very important to know your place in the journalism community. As new reporters or soon-to-be reporters or journalists in different fields, I ask you to first know the world that you are going to enter. No, there are many issues na kakaharapin mo sa yung pag-practice ng journalism. But one thing that it always reminds me is that you as a journalist, you will never be the center of your report. You should have been the one who will cause change, no? Parang yung reportage mo dapat yung magbibigay ng pagbabago doon sa society na kung anong meron tayo. Meaning to say, as a journalist, wala sa atin dapat yung kasikatan, dahil hindi nakakasikat yung journalism at hindi nakakayaman. Ito po ay isang trabaho, isang profesyon na ilan lang yung pumapasok at ilan lang yung nagpapatuloy. Dahil mahirap, hindi maganda yung experience. Pero kapag sinamarize mo naman kung ano yung magiging result nito in the future, you will see that you are a part of change. So I hope that many will still consider to do journalism, not just a profession, but an advocacy for social change.
Thank you, Ms. Kat, for joining us in this episode of All You Need to Know with SunStar Baguio. For more updates, visit us at our website at sunstar.com.ph/Baguio and like us on Facebook at SunStar Daily Baguio. Till next time, this is Conway Copas, reminding you to grab a copy of SunStar Baguio, the only daily newspaper in Northern Luzon. And that's all you need to know with SunStar Baguio.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you.
Magkinabahan. Nagkamali pa ako.